Alright, let me ask you a question. If you gave me $1,000 and I told you I would double it in a year, is that something you'd be happy with? Let me know down in the comments. Now, many of us can say that it's definitely easy to make $1,000. I mean, it's possible. Some people will take a week, some people might take several months, but it's definitely possible. If you take $1,000 and you double it every year, you realize that you're 10 doubles away from a million. Now, that makes it seem very, very easy to make a million. But now the game is literally all about finding the doubles in order to make a million. So in that way, it's actually not as difficult as it seems. Now that might sound random, but the idea to that is to make that 1 million seem a bit more reachable, something a bit closer, something that isn't a massive goal. So now the first habit I plan to cultivate in order to reach that millionaire status is to actually be more of a creator than a consumer. Now in this world, there are people who produce and there are people who consume. It's always going to be the case. People produce food, people consume the food, people produce TikTok videos and people consume the TikTok videos. Now to be rich in this life, you have to be a creator, you have to be a producer, you have to be able to produce something, either some sort of product, some sort of service, anything that other people can consume because people pay for things that they consume. Now if we're being completely real, the reason why most people barely script 5 figures or 10 figures is simply because they consume more than they produce. The more you continue to consume, you're bound to kind of always be on a negative, you're always losing more than you're able to keep earning. So really and truly, it doesn't matter how long it takes. If you're someone who produces more, it can take 10 years or 1,000 years. You're eventually going to have more than how much you're losing. Now, don't get me wrong, although I want to be more of a producer than a consumer, I'm still going to consume. I'm planning on consuming around 20% in total of my entire net worth, or how much I'm earning, just so I can at least be happy about the money that I'm earning. Although it seems very, very nice and everyone always says you should save as much as possible, I also believe some part of that you should actually spend. You should spend a bit of how much you're earning so you can at least appreciate how much or the money that you have, because ultimately you're going to die and you're not going to take that money with you, so you might as well do something with it. 20% isn't actually a lot if you think about it. Say you're saving 70-80% of money, that's a lot of money that you're saving, and I'm telling you now, a large percentage of people are not even saving close to 50% of their income, not even 60 or 70. So saving around 70%, spending 20%, and maybe the 10% goods and expenses isn't actually too bad. Now the second thing I plan on doing is starting things and not being afraid to fail. To be real, all these side hustles and everything that I've been doing isn't exactly going to make you a millionaire. A bunch of side hustles, teeny tiny side hustles, will make you money, but it's not going to exactly just suddenly make you a millionaire. It takes a lot more work, a lot more effort, and a lot more wisdom to actually turn something small into something that's making a ton of money. But one thing I can definitely agree with is that all these teeny tiny side hustles definitely builds the character, gives you the attitude, gives you the mentality, and gives you the opportunities to actually be a millionaire. But the one thing that will definitely make you a millionaire is starting a business. So one way to just describe the difference between a side hustle and a business is just looking at the risk alone. A side hustle is something that you can try without losing too much, but that also means you can't gain too much. A business is something that you'd usually be putting a lot into. Business is expensive, business takes a lot of time, and the risk is definitely greater than a side hustle. But that's why there's so much money that can be made in a business that is actually not capped. You can make as much money as possible, as much as you can continue to scale, or as much service that you can provide, you can make as much money. It's almost infinite money machine. So in my case, one of the first side hustles I actually started was editing YouTube videos on Fiverr. Now I'm not doing this today, so some can see this as a failure, something I started and didn't finish, but for me, it was perfectly fine. The reason I say this is because starting that Fiverr gig was the beginning of the beginning. That Fiverr gig technically led to me having this YouTube channel today, being able to edit those videos for people. Even though I wasn't charging a lot, I was definitely not earning as much as I should. It definitely taught me how to edit. It helps me improve my, marketing skills. I was able to learn to actually negotiate, because these things were things I was actually bad at initially. I'm not good with money in terms of asking people for money, being able to charge people the right amount of money for my time. So obviously I learned this throughout this period. And these transferable skills are things that have helped me today for sure. For example, with YouTube, I do plan on doing this in the long term, but things like editing back in the day has helped me to learn how to edit now, to improve my editing skills, to make these videos hopefully more enjoyable. Being able to charge people for my time is also another thing, because now I can actually say, this is how much my time is worth, this is how much I'm going to charge you for this. You either take it or you leave it, and that's kind of the case. So people actually value me more for what I'm able to do. So from all these side hustles over the past few years, I've definitely learned to just be content, be happy with starting something and knowing that it could potentially fail. In fact, I know some things will probably not even work, but I'll do it anyway, just to learn from it, just to experience it, because I'd rather say that I've done this and I've done this and I know about it and I know exactly how it goes, And if it sticks and it works, then that's something you continue doing. That's what happened to me in the case of dropshipping. You guys can check out my previous videos on how I started. I just landed upon it, tried dropshipping, it worked, and now it's still working. Even if it stops one day, all the amount of money that I've earned from that is definitely worth the amount of time that I've put into it. So honestly, if you do want to make money in this life, you have to be happy to try things and fail. Some might work for you, some might not work for others. Things that didn't work for others could work for you. So the next thing is saving at least 50% of my income. This is one that cannot be ignored. If you want to be someone who's wealthy, you have to learn to save money so your money can work for you. Not just saving your money in the bank, but saving your money and investing it into something. So I do plan on saving at least 50% of my income. So far I've been saving approximately 70%. That's not too bad. In fact, that's probably good. But obviously now I plan on actually putting that money into something. I want to put at least 20% into businesses from now on, just because I want my money to work even harder than it is so far. So this would mean that I'll probably be saving around 50% into the stock market and other things, but at 20% I'll put it to work, because obviously there is a risk of losing that 20%, but I feel like it's good to take some risk, especially at the age that I'm at the moment. So what I mean by saving 50% of my income, I do mean this is before expenses. So this does mean I need to increase my income in some way so that we're able to afford to do this. So obviously the little things that I can do to make sure I'm earning some sort of passive income is going to be the best thing, so I don't have to work for this money. And the only reason I'm able to save even 50% of my income without fail is by automating my savings. It's so important that 50%, 70% gets taken away immediately on a specific day of the month. So every time that money is gone, it gets saved, it gets put into other things. And that way, all the money I have left is all I can see. I also pay myself every single month, so that's the money that I'm able to spend. And I don't look at all the other money and all the other incomes that I have everywhere else. I only look at my spending money. The next thing I'm going to be doing is going to the gym. I know that this is definitely unrelated, definitely not linked to money in some way. But the one thing about gym is that it takes a lot of discipline. A lot of discipline, I can't lie. This is something I've been doing already. And to go to the gym knowing that there's so many other things that you can do in that time, that's probably a lot more fun than actually beating yourself up at the gym and doing things that you're not comfortable with. It's very difficult. But going to the gym definitely helps me to cultivate a habit. It helps me to be disciplined, to know that there's always something I have to do every single day, or at least 3 days a week. Well, not every single day. If I was going to the gym every single day, I'm sure I'd look a lot more different than I do at the moment. But I plan on going at least 3 days a week, because this helps me to implement the 2-day rule. And this is when I can only miss a day when I'm doing something. For example, in the case of the gym, if I go to the gym on Monday, I can choose not to go on Tuesday, but I have to go on a Wednesday. Then I can choose not to go on Thursday, but I have to go on Friday. So I can only miss a day, but I have to go the next day. So this at least helps me to know that I still have a routine and I can't just miss 2 days, because the moment you miss 2 days of something or 3 days, that is when you begin to slowly stop doing it. That's when you eventually get distracted and eventually you stop doing that thing. Also, if I can actually train myself mentally to continue to stick to this habit, then it also means that I have to eat right, and that takes a different mental capacity. Also mean I have to sleep on time and wake up on time, and all these other skills that helps you to be financially wealthy and just to be stable, because these are skills that other people who are wealthy also have. You see a lot of them say they wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. The only way you're going to be able to do that is if you're disciplined enough and you have a reason to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. So that simple thing like gym is a way for me to actually begin to, listen to myself, listen to my body, tell myself no and yes when I actually have to. Because trust me, saying no to yourself, especially when you want a donut or something that is really nice, is difficult, because you just don't really care. You don't see the long-term effects. You don't see why. All right, so a simple fact for you: 90% or approximately 90% of people who are millionaires in the US are made through real estate. Real estate is one way, a proven method, one that has beaten the test of time to be a way of actually making a ton of money. In order to retain that millionaire status, you have to put your money into something that will continue to beat inflation, that will return a lot of money, something that you can put your money in. You can put 250k, now, and that in the next few years, you can turn that into 500 or 500k and turn that into $1 million. That is through real estate, and that is why most people who are making a ton of money simply own real estate. So this is definitely something I'm working towards too. I would not say I'm close to it at the moment, because there's so much other things to do, but this is definitely something that I plan on doing at some point. Once I begin to actually increase my net worth and I begin to start earning that 100k, 200k, then I'll start looking into real estate, because this is a way that's definitely going to push me and get me to that millionaire status. If you guys do actually want to see a video on how I'm going to reach my first 100k, let me know down in the comments and drop a like, so that way I'll bring that video out for you. But this is definitely a step, and this is definitely a process that I'm going to continue to follow. First 100k, then half a mil, then hopefully we hit that millionaire status, mark my word. So check out this video to find out the best way I will be saving my money to actually reach that millionaire status. Thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for being here again today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.